All set? Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Building and Safety Board of Appeals. We wanted to open up this meeting with a roll call. We'll start with Mr. Mardian, Board Member Reg Mardian.
Here.
Board Member John Tatulian.
Present.
Board Member Alexander Wu.
Here.
Board Member Michael Chokmajian.
Here.
At this time, we would like to elect a President Pro Tem to preside over the meeting in the Chairman's absence. Could you please tell me who you wish to preside?
I'll nominate Mr. John Tatulian.
Second.
I'll do the roll call one more time. Board Member Reg Mardian.
Here. I'm sorry, yes.
Board Member John Tatulian.
Further.
Yes.
Board Member Alexander Wu.
Yes.
Board Member Michael Chokmajian.
Yes.
Great. So Board Member John Tatulian will be presiding over the meeting. Do you want to proceed to item number 2?
Yes, thank you for nominating me and for to run this meeting. Let's start, as you mentioned, item number 2, presentation and commendations. Are there any today?
Today we have none.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 3, oral communications.
At this time we have none.
In that case, we'll move to item number 4, approval of minutes of the previous meeting. Did everybody have an opportunity to go through the minutes? Is there any comments?
I can make a motion to approve the minutes of September 19th.
Second.
Great. I'll do a roll call. Board Member Reg Mardian.
Yes.
Board Member John Tatulian.
Yes.
Board Member Alexander Wu.
Yes.
Board Member Michael Chokmajian.
Yes.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda is item number 5, which is old business.
Today we have none.
The next item on the agenda is new business. Celeste, can you?
Sure. It's in reference to case number B mod 122-1250 for the address at 1025 North Grand Boulevard. We have Jan Edwards and Chris Agus here to provide us with the background on this case.
Good afternoon. I will have Chris Agus, one of the building and safety staff members who worked on this project, present the staff report.
Good afternoon, Chairman Tatulian and board members. My name is Chris Agus, and I'm one of the building code specialists here at the City of Glendale. Before I read and introduce the staff report, I'd just like to mention a few things. Just prior to getting on board and working with the applicant, originally the B mod was not approved by Stuart Tom. So back in December, I was brought along to work with the applicant to sort of massage the request and work on the plans to come up with something that is approvable by Stuart Tom. So we actually started off with 5 requests in the very beginning. So and through collaboration with the applicant, which I will introduce to you after this, we were able to go through several revisions and come up with what you have in front of you today, which we have reduced now to 2 requests. And with that, also with us today, should you wish to hear from the applicant, Celeste, would you go ahead and
Sure.
introduce the applicant?
The applicant is Nushin Selgadri, and her subject is in reference to accessibility modification request.
We can do that later. If questions. Chairman Tatulian and board members, I'd like to draw your attention to the second tab of your packet, which is the staff report. Since it's very short, I'll go ahead and directly read the staff report verbatim. And during my presentation, I will also refer occasionally to Exhibits 1, 2, and 3 in your packets as tab 3, 4, and 5. And hopefully, which will help make my presentation a bit clearer. With that, I'll go ahead and start off. The staff report, it's a request from exemption from disabled access due to physical or legal constraint, case number BMOD 1221250, which is Exhibit 1. Address is 1025 North Brand Boulevard. Like I said previously, we have two requests that requires your ratification. Number one is motion ratifying the building official's determination to grant an exemption from providing the required 12-inch clearance on the push side of the entry door in a remodel to the common area men's restroom on the first floor of an existing Type 3A medical office building where a door is provided with both the latch and a closer as required per Section 1133B.2.4 and Figure 11B 26A, Chapter 11B of the 2010 CBC, or to overturn the building official's determination pursuant to Section 113.1 of Volume 1A of the Glendale Building and Safety Code. Now, the second motion is a motion ratifying the building official's determination to grant an exemption from providing the required not less than 44-inch clear, unobstructed access to the water closet compartment designed for person with disability in a remodel to the common area men's restroom on the first, second, and third floor of an existing Type 3A medical office building as required for Section 1115B.3, parent 4.5, and Figure 11B-1B, Chapter 11B of the 2010 CBC, or to overturn the building official's determination pursuant to Section 113.1 of Volume 1A, Glendale Building and Safety Code. Building and Fire Board of Appeals action, we're here today for a ratification. With that, the next page on page 2 is the recommendation. The building official respectfully recommends that the Building and Fire Board of Appeals ratify his approval of the attached request from exemption from the disabled access due to physical or legal constraint, which is Exhibit 1. Background and analysis. The structure located on 1025 North Brand Boulevard is an existing Type 3A, three-story legal non-conforming medical office building constructed in the mid-1960s. It is located north of downtown Glendale and the 134 freeway on the corner of Brand Boulevard and Dryden Street. The building is served by a two-level parking structure at the rear. The building is also served by two elevators and is provided with non-accessible public men's and women's restroom on the first, second, and third floor, access through a common 1-hour rated corridor. The building on the first floor services a single office tenant and multi-medical office tenants on the second and third floors. The project involves a voluntary interior remodel to the men's and women's restroom, which the owner proposes to improve for the benefit of its tenants and the public. It is the intent of the owner to provide, to the fullest extent possible, fully accessible restrooms to serve the building. In doing so, the owner and the architect designer has also been presented with an existing building in which the location of the restrooms and surrounding areas creates a physical constraint. The existing men's restroom cannot be modified to enable a fully compliant accessible men's restroom without requiring significant alteration to the three-story structure. Adjacent to the men's restroom is an electrical room which contains the main electrical panels, a main plumbing wall which contains the main plumbing risers and an elevator shaft, and an existing 1-hour rated corridor. The code requires in a 1-hour rated corridor that all doors leading to the rated corridor shall be provided with a closer to enable the door to automatically close when opened and a latch in order for the door to fully close and create a positive seal during a fire smoke event. Adjustment of these existing areas in the walls surrounding the restroom represents a physical hardship because the walls adjacent to the men's restrooms cannot be modified. Therefore, it would be necessary to alter these areas and walls in a manner that would completely shut down the operation and use of the building and its tenants. Due to the limited dimensions within the men's restroom and 1-hour rated corridor, there is insufficient room to provide the required clearances and provide the required 12-inch clearance at the push side of the door and the required not less than 44-inch clear unobstructed access to the water closet compartment designed for persons with disability. Relocating the main electrical panels, the elevator shaft, and the main plumbing walls would create a hazardous condition. In lieu of the required 12-inch clearance where a door is required to provide with both a latch and a closer at the push side of the door in a 1-hour rated corridor, the new design for the first floor men's restroom will provide a minimum of 5 inches. In lieu of the required not less than 44-inch clear unobstructed clear access to the water closet compartment designed for persons with disabilities, the new design for the first, second, and third floor men's restroom will provide a range of 38 inches to 42 inches, which is greater than the minimum 36-inch aisle width for wheelchair access. As far as the request, which I previously stated, is to permit an exemption from providing the required 12-inch clearance on the push side of the entry door in a remodel to the men's restroom on the first floor in an existing Type 3A medical office building where a door is provided with both a latch and a closer. And in this staff report, I have indicated the section number to where the accessible feature is required. For request number 1 is section 1133B, .2.4.2, maneuvering clearances at doors. Also, figure 11B 26A, which is your attachment as Exhibit 2. Request 2, to permit an exemption from providing the required not less than 44-inch clear, unobstructed access to the water closet compartment designed for person with disability in a remodel to the men's restroom on the first, second, and third floors of an existing Type 3A medical office building. And that section is section 1115B, .3, parent 4.5, accessible water closet to compartment B. And it's also figure 11B1B in attached Exhibit 3. And as far as the justification, the applicant has justified that the existing men's restrooms cannot be modified to enable a fully compliant accessible men's restrooms without requiring significant alteration to the entire 3-story structure. Such alterations represent a physical and practical hardship. There exists a physical hardship based on existing physical constraints. Due to the limited dimensions of the existing men's restroom, there is insufficient room to provide the required clearances. On 3 sides surrounding the men's restrooms, there exist the following physical constraints. On one wall, there is an electrical room where the main electrical panels and the electrical risers are located. On another wall, there is the existing elevator shaft and the main plumbing risers. As far as physical impact, there's none applicable. And then as far as alternatives, Alternative 1, the Building and Fire Boards of Appeals may consider any alternative not proposed by staff. As far as complaint disclosures, there is none applicable. And as far as exhibits, you have Exhibit 1, 2, and 3. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and just direct your attention at the screen where I can show exhibits 2 and 3, where we have those sections in the code as far as providing the required accessible feature. This figure here is figure 11B-26A, and the requirement is right above here that says that provide this additional space if door is equipped with both a latch and a closer. In this case, in a specific project, we are providing a latch and a closure on the existing men's restroom door due to the fact that we have an existing 1-hour corridor. Okay. Exhibit number 2 or number 3 is figure 11B-1B, I'm sorry. And here you can see this diagram where it indicates here of the required 44 minimum inch clear path to the accessible restroom here. So, so with that, that concludes this presentation, and the applicant, Janet Edwards, myself, are available for any questions that the board may have.
I have a question.
When do you think it would be appropriate to invite, should we hear from the public or the applicant now, representative, or
Well, if you,
after?
I think if you have any questions, we can have her come up, but I don't know if she, okay.
I have a question. Are 2 toilets required for bathroom?
Those were the existing number of fixtures provided. So because this is an existing building, we are not requiring the applicant to add additional fixtures. Basically, it's an existing non-conforming building, and therefore they can maintain the required number of fixtures provided on the project.
Mr. Chair, I have a question. Mr. Agus, can you clarify, in one part of the report you talk about the men's room, then how about the women's room? On the plans, the exhibits you have provided me, the women's restroom is also being altered, correct?
Correct. We've only presented the men's restrooms in this specific case because it is the applicant's proposal that they're going to make the women's fully accessible.
Okay, so that,
That's
the
why-
women's has nothing to do with this?
No.
Okay.
That's just for reference. So
Okay.
anything for, as far as the women's is concerned, it's going to become fully accessible. So the request is specifically to the men's restroom.
Men's restroom?
Yes.
Well, that made it totally different from
Yes.
Because I thought for a minute this was part of it.
Yeah, that's why we actually tried to see what would be the best way to convey this. So we want to show the women's, but we didn't want to show any technical information or dimension that would indicate that we're doing work as far as requesting a request for an exemption.
So the rationale, I mean, what was the rationale to do this only and not the other ones now that we're, I mean, was there any rationale, or is this work going to be part of another tenant improvement?
What specifically the applicant wanted to do with this is rather than going in to do tenant improvement and be required to provide upgrades for accessibility and piecemeal the upgrades, they decided upon themselves now that they want to go ahead and commit to providing fully accessible restrooms to the extent possible before those future tenant improvements they have planned.
The reason I'm questioning, although this is not part of this application, because I noticed the building is not accessible from the street level. The only way this is accessible to ADA is from the parking structure.
Right.
Okay. Sure, Mr. Chair, yeah.
The building owners are planning to improve the building, and they're going to provide upgrades as far as accessibility on different stages. They started from the restroom because it was the most needed part. So we have plans to add the rest of the accessibility items to the building.
Thank you very much. Which takes me to the other question, Mr. Agus. What's the order of improvements that are more essential to the building before you get into the bathroom? Isn't the main entrances first?
That's if you are proposing a tenant improvement. 1134, Section 1134B of the building code requires that any time you do a tenant improvement, you're required to spend a minimum of 20% for accessible upgrade. And in that building code section, there's a list in order, and the first thing is what you indicated is the path of travel. But in this case, what the applicant wanted to do was to first, like as she mentioned, to go in first, which doesn't, the code doesn't have any requirements there. If she wants to go in,
Okay.
fully make the restroom accessible, so.
Commissioner Mardian, if I could clarify a little bit. The permit application is to alter the restrooms at this point in time. So the area of the remodel are the restrooms themselves. And where the work is limited to upgrading restrooms to provide compliance with disabled access, Chapter 1134B exempts any other upgrades from being required at that time and allows us to limit the work simply to the area of the remodel, the restrooms themselves.
Thank you for that clarification.
I have a quick question. So you had mentioned that the owner is looking into making improvements through the front entrance. When is
Yes,
that planned?
It's been in the early stages that they assigned budget to it.
Okay, so that's currently in the pipeline, but we don't have a specific date as to when that's going to be done.
Yeah.
And through this ratification, there isn't anything that we could do to say that in a certain amount of time frame that needed to be done. So basically, that's out of the scope of what we're looking at, correct?
Board Member Wu, that is correct. We
Okay.
have no control over those requirements. Building code does not require that we make those upgrades at this time.
Or we can't even specify a specific time frame as to, well, once this goes through and they do the renovations to the restroom within the next year, 2 years, they should do the necessary improvements for the accessibility to the front entrance.
Board Member Wu, there is no requirement, and we have no jurisdiction to enforce that kind of request.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Board Member Wu, the only time that would come into play is when and if a tenant does some tenant improvement work. At that time, then we can require them to comply with the 1134B, because now that they are providing a fully accessible restroom, then they need to go and through that list of, or the order first, starting with path of travel, then they would need to start with, spend a minimum of 20% to upgrade the facility, and that's when the time we will require that they provide an accessible path to the main entrance.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Wu, I should direct it to Mr. Agus. Go back to that ADA diagram, because you keep mentioning 44-inch clear, but in front of the access to the water closet, you show it shows the 5-foot circle, the diameter clear. How does that play in relationship to your justification? I understand the wheelchair is 30 inches wide, and the maneuvering space is to 36 inches. That's for hallways and things like that. What happens in this case? Because I know you have one side door and it helps you there. So the maximum you have is 38, or based on your report, 40.
Right.
Because the door in the plan that you have provided us is 34 inches. then you only have 7. How does this diagram relates to 44? 44 is at the beginning.
Well, 44 is the required clearance as you enter the door.
Okay.
And throughout, along the path, through any obstruction, that dimension, the shortest dimension, shall be 44 inches to the accessible.
So I should disregard that 5-foot circle and the 18 inches minimum? I understand the difficulty they're having there because of the walls and the panels. I'm just trying to relate this diagram to your justification.
Right. That
Well,
Yeah,
I'm not
that-
talking, it
this-
shows
this-
the alternative being the door being open inside and out. I'm just talking the clear space in front of the door. I mean, it shows clearly that the door could swing in and out.
are you specifically talking
About that
the
18
circle?
inches.
Oh,
Well,
the
you-
18 inches?
Yeah.
Okay, I can clarify that for you. Yes, at the door, there is a requirement for the 18 inches. I'm sorry. The 18 inches, if this door opens out, there is that requirement.
Of the
In
door.
our specific case, since our door is opening in,
Okay.
okay, that 18 inches is not required.
What are you required to have? Nothing?
We are required to have, by code, similar to the first diagram, is 12 inches.
12 inches, okay.
Okay, but there is, I've looked that up, and as you can see in the floor plan, which is page 6 of Exhibit 1, you can see that the entry door to the, or not entry door, the door to the men's water closet,
Right.
is that they're providing a new 34-inch door with a gravity hinge, okay? And there's been already a determination by the federal, sorry. Yeah, the U.S. Department of Justice has indicated a self-closing compartment door with a gravity hinge is not considered to be a door with a closer. Hence, the 12-inch clearance would not be required in this type of design.
Oh, okay.
So there's a way out for the
For that
12 inches.
okay.
Correct.
Thank you for that clarification. It really helps me.
And not too many people know that.
Okay. So in this case, the minimum fixture count doesn't come into play at all. I have no other questions, I think. I appreciate the applicants coming forward to remodel the toilet facilities. I just hope one day they will provide that access to the building because, you still need to upgrade the access.
Is there any other discussion? Can we entertain a motion? Would anybody like to entertain a motion for new business? Case number BMOD 1221250.
I'll make a motion to ratify the building official's determination. Do I need to read all this out first, or?
I think you can indicate as presented would be sufficient. Is there any clarification to that from?
Chairman Taktalian, I believe you need to identify, since there are two separate items, whether your motion is including item 1 and item 2, or simply item 1 or item 2.
I'll make a motion for both items. One motion rectifying item 1 and 2. One motion is the deviate from the 12-inch clearance, to my understanding, and the other one is the 44 inches.
There's a motion. Can we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Roll call. Board Member Reg Mardian.
Yes.
Board Member John Tatulian.
Yes.
Board Member Alexander Wu,
Yes.
Board Member Michael Chokmajian,
Yes.
Can we proceed now to item 7, Chairman?
Yes, we can. Item number 7 is reports information only. I see that we have a report in our file. At this time, usually, Mr. Stewart Tom gives us a synopsis of what's on here. Will we have that opportunity today?
I don't have the complete information that Mr. Tom usually presents to you on this, but overview is that we are about on par with where we were at this same time period last year. We're slightly ahead with our plan check fees. If you notice, in the last 2 columns, we are at $1.4 million for plan check fees this year as opposed to $1.2 million for the same time period. We have a number of significant projects that have been submitted for plan check that either still are in plan check or just recently had their permits issued. And so we are ahead of where we were last year with that respect. Our building permits are about the same as in previous years, or same as last year, I should say. And if you go down to the bottom line total, we are just slightly ahead of the overall building fees, 2.9 for the first 6 months of fiscal year 2012-2013, as opposed to the previous was 2.7 million. Our cost recovery ratio for that time period is 1.26, so we're slightly ahead of our overall costs, again, due to those significant projects. We've got approximately 8 mixed-use multifamily dwelling projects, either in plan check or just recently permitted. And we have had an additional 3 more significant commercial structures in plan check or recently permitted that accounts for these figures for this fiscal year.
So you would say that the trend is moving to the positive compared to last year's report?
Chairman Tutalian, I would say that we're just slightly ahead and anticipate holding steady with the fees. We do not believe that there will be a significant increase in our fees over the last year's fees, but a slight increase.
I have a quick question. I'm looking at the report and just kind of caught my eye, which is the parks mitigation fee. Previous year to date was 1.8 million. Current year to date is 126,000.
Yes, Board Member Wu. That is as a result of council action on several of these significant projects. Development agreement was reached in late 2010 that required these projects that had the development agreement pay their parks and library mitigation fees at time of plan check submittal rather than at time of permit issuance.
Okay.
As a result, in December 2010, we received the majority of those parks fees, whereas had it not been for that development agreement reached with City Council, we would have received the majority of those fees during the 2012 fiscal year. I should say calendar year.
So that's the same thing for the Parks Quimby fee as well.
Correct.
Thank you.
Question, Mr. Chair. How about for the urban art program? current year to, seems like you're saying we have much more projects, but previous year was higher. Because that doesn't come in play until they pay all their fees? Is that how it works?
Board Member Mardian, yes, that's correct. They pay the urban art program fees at the time of permit issuance, but again, as part of the development agreement, some of them were allowed to pay their fees at time of submittal. Additionally, the urban art program allows the developer to incorporate a portion of the art into the design of the project, and may therefore be exempt from having to pay the fee. Several of the projects in this last fiscal year have incorporated significant art into their project, and therefore were exempt from the fee.
Thank you.
How busy is staff with the new hours? Is that working out okay? I mean, it's been some time now.
Yes, Chairman Taktulian. It is working out very nicely. A good portion of that change in our counter hours was as a result of loss of administrative staff, but it's allowed the plan check staff also to become more focused and more efficient and able to get projects out in a closer to our target turnaround dates. But due to the large number of major projects that are in plan check at this time, we still have a somewhat of a backlog.
So you're still not using outside consultant now? Everything is in-house, correct?
Board Member Mardian, no. We are sending some of our smaller single-family dwelling projects out to outside consultants in order to allow staff the time to spend on the major projects to make sure that they're code compliant and meet the turnaround deadlines as closely as possible.
How about express plan check, Ms. Edwards? Is that still available, or the express, or is it still based on the requests?
Board Member Mardian, it is still available. It is based on the applicant's requests and somewhat staff availability. We try and accommodate all the requests that we can, and we've only had to really turn down one significant project in the Express Plan Check program. All other requests we've been able to accommodate.
Thank you for that update.
Does anybody have any more discussion regarding item number 7, reports and information only? I don't think there's any more, Celeste.
Okay, we'll go on to the item number 8, adjournment, with your permission, Chairman Tatulian, and if we can get a motion, perhaps, for
Can
adjournment?
we have a motion for adjournment, please?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
Meeting adjourned, right?
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank
all.
you.
It's dawn in Montrose at City Hall Cafe, and the Montrose Centennial is just 1 week away.
We want to encourage everybody to attend the Centennial of Montrose, and happy birthday, Montrose. 100 years. We love you.
It's coming Saturday and Sunday, February 23rd and 24th, a huge event all day on Honolulu Avenue. Robert Newcomb's History of Montrose has come out just in time.
Walt Disney understood the value of small-town America. That's why he built Main Street USA as the entrance to Disneyland. And we've got it right here in a park-like setting. 100 years ago, this whole area was nothing but scrub brush. And these two guys came upon it and bought 260-plus acres, and they named the town Montrose. And on February 22nd, 1913, they started selling lots here. Most of the buildings here were built in the 20s, and this building has been here for 100 years. So it's the only building that's been here since the beginning. It's one of the reasons why Montrose looks so cool is that we have these at least 90-year-old buildings for the most part.
Montrose has a long tradition. We have so many places that have been here for decades that give it a different feel, a wonderful tradition. Something that lots of these newer suburbs don't have.
It is a fun place. We have a little bit of everything here, the restaurants, movie theaters, bowling alley, shops.
Montrose is still the community, as always has been.
I'm a barber, and I own the barber shop here since 1968. I've got regular customers over 53 years.
Well, the oldest business in Montrose is Animals. They actually opened in 1920. They're now in their fourth generation. Grayson's Toontown started in the 1950s by a man named Val Grayson, who was a band leader, and he wanted to settle down, and he chose Montrose.
Grayson's Toontown will be 60 years old in August of this year. My parents opened up the business, and we were originally a music store and now more of musical instruments and accessories. It's really fun to say happy anniversary Montrose, 100 years.
Growing up here, going to the coffee shop with Wanda and, hanging out with my grandma. And now I'm working with my dad and my son here at Grayson's, and it's a blessing.
And of course, Wanda is always the one that draws everyone into this restaurant. She's been here for so many years. Her mother was here before her.
I've been here 43 years. I come from a small town originally, and this is like living in a small town. Everybody knows everybody. You walk down the street, everybody's friendly with you. I know all the merchants. I mean, it's just a great place. Great place.
I live in Montrose since 1954. I'm working here in the barber shop, and please come that day of the festivity and enjoy the 100 years of Montrose.
As older merchants retire, other new businesses have opened and are planning for a long stay.
When I saw the opportunity, I thought I'll start a restaurant, which I've been doing for many years in England. Montrose is a city of families. A lot of people come here because of all the variety of different restaurants we have here. And I hope it will keep its identity for the next 100 years.
Montrose is that kind of place that you wish you could be, that main street that has tradition, fun, but still quaint. There's not a lot of places like that left, certainly not in LA.
On February 23rd and 24th, it's going to be extra special because of the centennial. And they're doing it with a Western theme because Montrose used to have Western rodeo parades for many, many years. And there'll be games and carnival rides and food reminiscent of the original barbecue.
It's going to be like the old days.
We're going to have a bash and we are going to be partying. Anybody wants to join us, come along. Honolulu Avenue, Montrose.
Happy birthday, Montrose. 100 years. We love you.
Everyone come to the party!
Well, hi everybody. Welcome again to the Doghouse on GTV6. It's so nice to see you again here. As you know by now, this is your pet adoption show, your favorite pet adoption show, hosted by the city of Glendale. And we have some great people here to help introduce you to the pets you're about to see. There'll be 3 cats, 3 dogs, and sometimes a miscellaneous, sometimes a
rabbit.
A rabbit. That's very good. A rabbit.
I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Every once in a while, we try to throw a
We've had a lizard,
curveball.
we've had hamsters,
Yeah, well,
snakes.
you never know.
You never
Sometimes you
know,
gotta
but not
wanna-
today.
And there are some miscellaneous here that we couldn't bring up, but
Oh, you can tell us about
well,
this.
we'll talk about that later.
Let's introduce you in a moment. To my right is, I'm Rob Sharkey. To my right is Dottie Sharkey. To my left is Kevin McManus, and Kevin is adoption supervisor for the Pasadena Humane Society, which is from where we emanate. What are those miscellaneous that you were talking about that we seldom see? Like, well, tell us some of the exotic animals you have here now.
Well, just the other day we had an iguana come in. The iguana is a large adult iguana, seems very friendly, available for adoption now. So
Wow.
if that's something that you have experience with, we are looking for an experienced home for our lizard friend.
Very gentle pets. I've had one.
Yeah, as long as they're handled,
Yeah.
well and early.
How big is the iguana?
He's several feet long.
Ooh.
Definitely an adult.
Ooh.
With the tail,
Wow,
probably about
that's
3.5,
big.
4 feet. So
That'll be fun.
he's a
just
good
to
size,
come and-
lizard.
Come and see. Just come and see
Absolutely,
the iguana. Okay, well, with that in mind, I think we've given you enough incentive. Let's show you what happened to the pets. To left from the last show. In fact, you're going to see one again today. We're going to recycle a pet from the last show. We love the pets so much. But first, we have our producer, Zara, who is bringing us today's
Rabbits.
ding, ding, ding. We tend to have lots of rabbits here. I can't imagine why. Anyway, this happens to be Sunny. And Sunny, I'll give you Sunny's number, A316968, who is a neutered 4-year-old male, an English spot rabbit. What is an English spot rabbit?
That is a very good question, Rob, and I'm glad you asked because I just had to ask Zara, our producer, before the show. Apparently, it is just a coloration pattern.
This is a shy bunny.
But a large bunny. Definitely a large bunny. I can spot that. Maybe that's the reason. Ba-ding.
Well, Spot, as you can tell, hopefully from the close-up, is this beautiful, what we call dappling around his face. It's kind of that gray and black kind of combination, and I think it's just beautiful.
Accounting for the spots, would this be like a purebred breed, more or less?
I would imagine
papers,
so.
But,
yeah.
but-
There are several different breeds of rabbits that we see. They're all obviously domesticated, but
So-
I think it's a good bet that he is a purebred rabbit. If you will.
He's beautiful.
So a rabbit expert would know what an English spot rabbit is.
I would imagine so.
Wow, okay.
We also, if you adopt, we always say the warning about their little chewers. Wires and stuff. At the Denver airport, just recently I heard a news story that their parking structure is quite warm and they have a problem with rabbits chewing the cars that are parked there for a long time. So, I know, are they funny?
Well, to be fair, the cars are still there. Their wiring is a
The
little
wiring,
frayed.
yeah.
Everyone's getting tickets for not having their
Yeah,
parking
exactly. But the point about that is you don't need to keep them in a cage. You can let them out, but keep
Just
an eye
watch
on them.
them,
They do
yeah.
chew things. What would Sunny cost, Kevin?
Sonny's adoption fee is $30. That would, I believe, he would only need a microchip actually implanted before he could go home. So if you're head over heels with Spot here, you can take him home today.
Okay, Sunny.
What's his number again?
Excuse me, Sonny. Sorry, Sonny.
No, you are actually, he is a spot. Sonny is an English spot rabbit, neutered 4-year-old male, very, very friendly and outgoing. He'd love to be your forever pet and your forever home. And Sonny's number, if you would like to take him home today, is A316998. Okay, on to the cats. And this is the cat I warned you about. Well, first, let's bring on Judy, who we haven't seen in a while, our volunteer Judy. Nice to see you back. It's probably great to see you back. What's that hat you have on? What's that from? Oh, okay. Now, got a horse on it. I just wondered if that had to do
Judy on the spot.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, this cat is so awesome that it's back again on the
This
show.
is Bandita, and you may have recognized Bandita from the last show. And I'll tell you, first of all, Bandita's number is A318900, a spayed 12-year-old female. And we can tell you more about her, but Kevin, why is Bandita being brought back from the last show?
Because she's awesome.
She's awesome.
Bandita is one of the cats who currently resides in our communal cattery, so she interacts with other cats and does so well. She's so well adjusted to living in a multi-cat situation.
That's a great plus.
And yeah, she would be just a great cat if you already have one or two at home and you're looking for, maybe a companion for them. She would definitely fit the bill as far as socialization.
And she's so nice to talk to.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And by the way, I keep mentioning my nephew's cat that they adopted at 10 years old, and she's still in her late 20s. And they keep saying goodbye to her. They'll come home at Christmas and say goodbye and go back at Easter, and they're sorry again. Anyway, so 12, she's got a long life ahead of her. Because she's in good shape. She's in really good shape.
But more important, 12 qualifies her for the Senior for Seniors program.
That's right.
Now, Kevin, would you tell people what that means, please?
Bandita, because she is what we consider a senior pet, so that would be any pet over the age of 5, her adoption fee for a senior person over the age of 60 would only be $20, and that just covers the cost of the microchip implantation. Bandita also, speaking of discounts, is one of our long-term resident cats, and that's a program that we've decided to run all year long. Any cat that has been at the shelter for over a month, the adoption fee, the regular adoption fee, so that is if you are not quite 60, is only $35. So basically half price for any cat who's been here for over a month. And Bandita has been here for a little while, so she definitely qualifies for
She's
that.
a wonderful cat.
Yeah.
Do you check IDs carefully?
Absolutely. We have everyone swipe their driver's license, give a DNA sample. No.
Anyway, the idea of the Senior for Seniors program is for if you're living on Social Security or a fixed income and you're thinking, wow, I can't afford the big $120 adoption fee, you don't need to. Just adopt an older cat, over the age of 5. Isn't this a wonderful companion?
This cat is really active.
Right.
And would be
She doesn't act 12. She thinks she's 3.
Well, few cats do over the age of 5,
Beautiful eyes, too.
So for the mere cost of $20, you could have someone think you're the most wonderful creature in the world and agree with everything you say and so forth and be your forever buddies. So that's what the Senior for Seniors program is for. So Bandita would only cost you $20 if you're over the age of 60. Right. So again, her number, I should say again and again, her number is A318900 Bandita, and we're going to bring her back next week.
That's right.
And keep bringing her back. That's Bandita. Well, our next cat here is Andrea bringing out Tiffany. Andrea, thank you for being a wonderful volunteer here and helping us.
Oh,
and
Tiffany's so soft.
Tiffany is unique in a couple ways. First, she is A321662. She's a spayed 2-year-old female gray tabby, and here's her first way that she's unique. She's a Maine Coon. A Maine Coon is a breed, a very specific breed. Kevin, again, I always hate to put you on the spot. Is this a close to being a purebred Maine Coon?
Probably not. She definitely has a lot of Maine Coon characteristics, but she doesn't have that classic.
The face, though? The face is Maine Coon.
Well, we never know. Of course, Tiffany was turned in by an owner, so we, the owner didn't provide us with any, like pedigree paperwork or anything like that. But she could definitely fit the bill. She's big enough. One of the characteristics of Maine Coons is they tend to be much larger cats, and she's a good, healthy weight.
She's awful wiggly.
Oh, she's kind of wiggly.
Yes.
Okay, Maine Coons have a characteristically big, fluffy tail. This cat has a big, fluffy tail.
I think she was in a home where she got her way.
And they're big. They tend to be big, furry cats.
And well deserved.
Well deserved, indeed.
But also very friendly, very friendly. Declawed front feet. She shouldn't go outside. An owner turn in, and the adoption fee would be
$70. Woo! And that would include her. Well, she is already spayed. We would microchip her.
As I said, she's used to getting her own way.
Big wigglewworm. She'd be a great pet.
So.
Really personable cat.
Yeah.
So Tiffany, that's probably her real name because that's a name she came in with and has had for some years. So Tiffany is A321662. Okay, before we go any further, and we've got a cat waiting in the wings, we just want to give you a few tips about finding a pet-friendly apartment. And it's important because you don't want to adopt the pet and find out your landlord doesn't allow pets, and then you got to bring the pet back, and then it's kind of stressful on the pet. You want to do it all at once. So if you're looking for a pet-friendly apartment, here's a couple of tips to keep in mind. One, contact the property management company directly to see what kind of animals are allowed. That's either if you're, if you haven't found an apartment, you're looking for an apartment and want one that's going to accommodate pets, you want to do that in the beginning. Or if you want to come here, you want to ask your apartment manager first. Ask if there are any breed restrictions. Utilize apartment, this is the last one, apartment search websites such as forrent.com. That's easy enough to remember. Here's an easier one, peoplewithpets.com or apartmentlist.com. Those websites can help you find pet-friendly apartments in your area. So speaking of a friendly pet, here we have our wonderful volunteer Judy with a very friendly, very outgoing and affectionate Bradley.
Oh, Bradley's calm.
And Bradley is first, his number, A321454. He is a neutered, ready-to-go-home 8-year-old male gray tabby. Loves to roll around on your carpet or probably in the dirt. Cats like to do that. Let's see, what else could we tell you about Bradley? Very
well, what I can
friendly,
tell
gray
you
tabby.
about rolling around in the dirt, the best part is, I'm sure most people know this, but for those who don't, they clean themselves. You don't have to give them a bath. We have white cats. We've never, ever. They roll around in the dirt and then clean themselves right up. So I'm sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say Bradley, being 8 does qualify him for the Senior for Senior program, which we've already talked about.
Exactly.
His regular adoption fee is $70. You might notice that he's got a little nick in his ear. We, have checked that out to the best of our ability. He seems healthy, and it doesn't seem to bother him. I think it's maybe an old scar or something like that. So.
War wound.
A war wound. So, he's been around the block, but I think now he needs a nice, quiet indoor home to kind of relax and chill out.
Yeah.
He's very calm. Very calm.
He is relaxed. He's a good boy.
Very friendly.
He's a good boy. He's love a home. So, okay, Bradley would cost you only $20 if you're over the age of 60, otherwise $70. Bradley's number is A321454, a neutered 8-year-old male. He's ready to go home immediately.
Okay, here comes our first dog, if you can stand. Too cute.
Too cute.
This is Zoe, and Zoe's number is A321312, spayed, 8-month-old female. How cute.
Yes.
Gray and white pit bull mix. very sweet, very friendly, as we can tell. Demonstrate.
A lap dog.
And she knows her sit command. We already saw that. But
8 months
of course,
old, she's a lap dog.
this
2 years
is,
old, she may not be a lap
and
dog.
Howard, look at how you heard me say all those nice things about you, didn't you? Huh?
She wanted to show
Is
off
that
her
it?
sit command. Come here,
So, okay, well, let's see. We'll let you see. Oh, there you go. She sits. And so, Kevin, want to tell us a little bit about her? Her
Well,
adoption fee?
yeah,
and-
adoption fee for Zoe is $125. That includes obviously her spay, microchip, rabies vaccine, other vaccines. Come here. The training that she's already exhibiting here, that's free. Zoe, we think, is a pit bull mix. At 8 months, she's almost full grown, and you can tell
really?
she's pretty tiny.
That is great.
She's, I would say, maybe 25 pounds, so probably top out at 35, maybe. So she's definitely a mix of something, something cute.
This is a great
Something
dog
cute.
because I love the face, and with the little.
She's a
she
kisser.
loves your face. She is so cute.
I
And
left
that's
a little
as big
breakfast.
as she's going to
Yeah.
get, huh?
Yeah, so I'm sure she's very popular.
Yeah,
very popular
she's
here.
loves going out for her walks to the park with her volunteers, and
She likes
as you can
me.
tell, they treat her well, and they have taught her well.
So
Such a beautiful color. What is that called?
Gray.
Just gray?
No, technically they're blue. They're,
Oh, blue.
Well, all right, that would be a nice name for her. So, all right,
White
well, let
boots.
me give you Zoe's number again. She needs to, or what? Oh, it's Zoe. Oh, excuse me. Zoe. That's even cuter. So, her little number is A321312.
Well, we are coming up to a very important day here at the Humane Society, and actually worldwide. February 26th is known as World Spay Day. In an attempt to help stop the tragedy of pet overpopulation, PHS has always, and will continue to do so, provide low-cost spay-neuter services for the city of Glendale. Some common questions and answers are available on our website, which is pasadenahumane.org. If you click on Services on the upper tab on the web page and select low-cost spay-neuter, you can have many of your questions and answers. Many of your questions answered, I guess, is the correct phrase there. Pit bull and pit bull mixes, as well as Chihuahua and Chihuahua mixes, are sterilized at no cost. Appointments are necessary, and if you'd like an appointment, you should contact our SNP coordinator at 626-792-7151, extension 138, to schedule an appointment. That is a message line, but please leave your name, number, what kind of animal you would like to have spayed or neutered, and make an appointment this week and help us celebrate World Spay Day, which is, again, February 26th. Thank you so much.
Hey, Tommy, get in here. Look
Hello,
how cute.
Tommy.
Tommy's number is A321005, neutered 8-year-old male. Tommy, you're 8 years old, so a little black and white. Go ahead, tell me.
Lhasa Apso.
He's very well behaved. That's a great endorsement. He loves to cuddle on your lap. as Kevin, he's got a little like
A little overbite. Yeah.
Underbite.
No, underbite.
Yeah.
That is so cute.
That's pretty characteristic
Yeah,
of this
of
breed.
that,
Yeah.
So he's probably the real thing when it comes to the breed.
We would imagine so. Oh.
Tommy is his real name,
Yeah,
owner
so
turn-in.
he's an owner turn-in, so maybe he has a little sad story.
Yeah.
And, but it's a happy story to be here. He gets well taken care. You can see.
Oh, good boy.
You can see the love.
Oh.
And he's either a senior for senior if you're over
That's
the age of
correct.
60, or
if you are not quite to 60, his adoption fee is $125. And that,
So-
of course, includes all the vaccinations that we mentioned previously, rabies shot now, which we cover, Good boy.
He looks like a little senior. He'd be great with a senior.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what he's not showing really is that he is still pretty active. So although I think he would be great in a senior home, he would also be really good, like going for walks and doing a little bit of moderate exercise. He can't probably run like he used to, but with a breed this size, you don't need to exercise them as much.
Also, if he got groomed, can you imagine how he would shine? He's actually a beautiful dog.
He is a beautiful dog.
Yeah, so
And
for seniors,
very well behaved.
Is he? He'd be a wonderful addition to someone. I love that little underbite. It's just too cute. How can you not look at that face and not smile?
I think you mentioned this already, Doug, but going out with our mobile unit gives the dogs an opportunity, gives us an opportunity to see how they interact with other dogs and with people that they meet, and he's just done so well. It's all right. Done really well with other dogs, so he'd probably be good in a multi-dog household.
Oh, that's great.
That's a little plea.
A plea for a forever home.
Yeah, forever home. He said he'll promise to live happily ever after. So let me give you Tommy's number again. It's A321005. Okay, another little cutie. Look at this. This is Wiley. What a big name for such a little dog.
A cutie.
Wiley's number is A320713. Neutered. 10 years old, Kevin.
10 years old.
I know.
10 years young in
Yeah,
his case.
he's a little shy at first. He's very
Yeah.
shy
it's
and
all right.
white and brown. Oh my goodness, look. Don't you just
shaky.
want to take him home?
Yeah.
Just take him home and
I just want to get him a sweater.
I know.
Is that it? He's cold or
I
scared?
think he's a little bit nervous.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
nervous.
he is a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
And Chihuahuas
Yeah,
are known
do
for
that.
being a little anxious.
Yeah.
And this little guy was a stray. So no wonder he's a little bit unsettled.
So he was on the street for a while.
Yeah. So he could use a loving home. He's definitely a senior for senior, so he'd be free except for the $20 microchip. And his adoption fee, regular adoption fee, is $125. He's just a sweetheart. He loves laps. So if you've got a lap that you
An
would
available
like,
lap.
if you have a lap available, yeah, there you go. So,
And you'd like to use that lap to comfort a dog that was on the street, is 10 years old and scared and really wants a home.
I know.
Have we pushed all the buttons?
So yes, okay.
Well, the one thing, too, that we should mention about Wiley is, we do behavior assessments on all of the pets before we make them available for adoption, and he did, despite his being a little anxious, score as high as he possibly could.
Oh, wow.
So he is like the top of the line behaviorally.
Is that like a blue ribbon dog?
Similar.
Similar? Okay.
Yeah, Blue Ribbon is actually a slightly different program, but he, for those familiar with our behavior assessment, he is what we call a green dot. So that means
green
he
dot.
scored the highest he could, and we, all of our volunteers aged 15 to 85 can work with a dog like Wiley and spend time with him and get him,
that's great.
in this case, a little bit more comfortable with people and handling. So it's very, very
Yeah,
good
that's
boy.
a wonderful thing you do. You'll go around here and you'll see volunteers or staff
Yeah,
in the
the one in the
cages,
little green
sitting
smocks,
down,
yeah.
holding the dogs. Sometimes they'll read to them. It's awfully nice.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful place.
And
Wonderful
the
place.
dogs, they
So-
actually, they recognize and they respond to our volunteers' smocks. It's really cute
Really?
to see. Yeah.
Yeah, so they get really good care here. So we hope you'll come down and see us. You can check us hourly during business hours. We're at PasadenaHumane.org or 626-792-7151. But the best way is to come down and see us. And we are at 361 South Raymond Avenue in Pasadena. From Glendale, you take the 134, get off at the Del Mar exit, or is the 210? Did I say that wrong?
Well, it's the same.
It's
Same
the,
exit.
It's the same thing from Glendale. Get off at the Del Mar exit, a left on Del Mar, right onto Raymond, and there we are. We'd love to see you when I come down on the weekends and see the kids here. They're all smiling, and it's a beautiful, beautiful shelter. So we hope to see you here, and that's it. Do you have any little...
Yeah. I just
Well, we do want to mention our social media outlets. So if you're on Facebook, you can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter and Foursquare. Pinterest, Google Plus, you name it. Anything else you can imagine, our producer Zara is on it, and we are always updating with as much great information as we possibly can.
And did we mention that the website is?
Oh yeah,
www.pasadena.org. We mentioned that. Oh, okay, good. You may want to come down and just kind of look at the huge expansion program underway that's going to add. I just had to make a note of this: 35,000 square feet to the Pasadena Humane Society, with all kinds of facilities for training and grooming and teaching and housing homeless pets.
Most importantly is spaying and neutering.
We
are going to be hopefully, very soon, operating our low-cost spay-neuter clinic 7 days a week. Currently, we're only at 2 days a week, that is. But once the facility's open, the goal is to do spay-neuters every single day. So that will hopefully dramatically help with the pet overpopulation problem.
Excellent.
Okay, let me give Wiley's number again, just in case somebody just tuned in and spotted this cute little guy.
Hold him up.
This is A320713.
Good boy, Wiley.
That's Wiley. Well, with that, we would like to thank all the people who helped us on the show. Is that a phone somewhere?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. A phone telling us to wrap up the show, which we are. Thank you so much to our volunteers, Georgianne and Judy and Andrea, our producer, Zara, and our city staff from the city of Glendale. Let's see, we have Jessica and Kevin.
I'm sorry. I saw you look at Derek.
And Dot, thank you very much for
You're
helping us out
welcome.
on the show today.
You're welcome.
And Kevin, our adoption supervisor.
Բարև ձեզ սիրելի երեխաներ եւ ծնողներ, շնորհակալություն, որ այցելել եք այսօրվա Glendale քաղաքի GTV6-ի Treehouse Tell հեքիաթի ժամին։ Իմ անունը Արփին է եւ այսօր ես կարդալու եմ ձեզ Հովհաննես Թումանյանի հեքիաթների